All right, this is Patrick Rogers, and today we have the privilege to have Sterling Peloso on the show. And Sterling is the CEO of Broco Rankin. Welcome to the show, Sterling.
Thank you for having me, Patrick.
You bet, man. So a little bit about Sterling. He's the president and CEO of Broco Rankin, which is he just acquired almost a year ago. Broco Rankin is a welding, and by the way, congrats on that. They are a welding supply and equipment manufacturing company with a focus on underwater, industrial, tactical, and protective metal alloys. Prior to acquiring Broco Rankin, Sterling has enjoyed a long and successful career as an executive leader in a number of high-profile companies, such as president of patient monitoring and ultrasound at Avante Health Solutions, president and CEO of Ultrasound Solutions, VP at Aramark Corporation, CEO at Galls Corp, and just a long history of success in the executive world there. Sterling lives in Ladera Ranch, California, has 4 kiddos, 3 of them in college. That's a big bill, and
Yes.
and 1 in high school. So again, Sterling, welcome to the show. I can't wait to dive into your experience and your journey so far with Broco Rankin. That's exciting stuff. Before we do that, what's one interesting fact about yourself that not many people know?
Well, I'm very passionate about soccer. I played in college, and fun fact is I'm still playing. I'm 57, so I play
Nice.
in a Sunday league and in tournaments. So try to stay active as much as I can, and still have a lot of passion around the game. So it's
Very cool.
a somewhat fun fact, but
Yeah. No, that's awesome. How often do you play? Like weekly or?
we have games every single week, and we just got done with the tournament a couple weeks ago. So I play often, and I forced all my kids to play soccer, of course. So that took up a lot of time when they were all playing. So.
Oh yeah. And are they I know you said one was in OSU, one's in Reed. Are they playing ball as well? Are they still playing soccer or
They still play recreationally. I have
recreational?
one
Yeah.
also at Berkeley, and so
Oh,
but
okay.
they still play and like playing, but it's not competitively like they were before. So
Cool. Awesome. Well, hey, again, congrats on Broco, that acquisition. And I know you'd mentioned that it was some private equity teamwork there as well,
mhm.
partnerships. So tell us about Broco. Tell us more about what you guys do and the niche you fill.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting company. So I did work with Salt Creek Capital. This is the second go around with them. I actually worked with them to purchase Ultrasound Solutions back in 2013, just 10
Oh, okay.
years ago.
Yeah.
And we bought that company, and they're a private equity sponsor, and not pure private equity. So the CEO really does have a much greater say in what happens in the business than you typically do in private equity. So they helped to identify this business, and then we closed in January. So Broco Rankin, great company. It's really, if you think about it, is 2 separate companies. One is Broco, and the other is Rankin. Broco was founded 55 years ago, and Rankin was founded 85 years ago. And Broco focuses in on really industrial cutting and welding, both underwater, on the tactical side, and also top side. So we manufacture the rods, the torches, all of the equipment to be used for that. If you've ever seen exothermic cutting, and I would, if you want to go down a rabbit hole and go on YouTube and take a look at videos of what industrial cutting is, it's fascinating and really a great tool for, if there's damage to something that's metal, or any type of really kind of material, these torches get up to 9,000 degrees instantaneously. And so
Wow.
you could cut through anything from an inch to 12 inches of steel. And used in oil and gas and in the
Right.
industries, and a lot of different industries. So, and then on the Rankin side, we're really dealing with things like protective metal alloys for companies. But everything, if you think about it, for this business is focused in on kind of the torch and welding and cutting. Every single product line that we have of the kind of 5 are focused on that. So.
Got it. No, that's fantastic. So tell us about your journey over so you acquired it, what, 11 months ago?
Yep. January 5th was our close date.
Awesome. So would love to know, like, what was it about this company that attracted you to make the acquisition versus, I imagine you were looking at other companies as well.
Sure.
What was it about this company?
Yeah, it was a very similar, so when I looked at this business, very niche driven. They have a great brand identity, I think, as an organization. I think operationally they ran extremely well. And what I saw in the business was that over time, which is typical with a kind of founder-led, for the most part, founder-led, operationally driven company, they really haven't evangelized the various kind of lines of business, both from a marketing and sales standpoint, to really drive growth in the business. In this business over time, if you looked at the P&L, the business, stayed at the same revenue number really for the past 10 years. It's been about the same. There's been,
wow.
So that's where I saw the opportunity, and that's, the things that I know how to do is grow organically a business over time. At least over time that's happened. So
yeah. So did that impact the price that you were able to pay by them being pretty stagnant?
No, I would say that their revenue, the revenue side of the business was flat over time. I think their EBITDA growth over time was positive in terms of how they ratcheted down the business and really became more operationally efficient.
Oh,
so no, I think it was a great value for the company, but I truly look at this business. I mean, we should be growing double digit every single year without question. There's just so much opportunity in markets that we haven't tapped. And our kind of sales operation and marketing, execution has been non-existent, because that's not what the previous owners really focused on. They weren't
focusing on that.
Yeah, that's not something that really energized them as individual owners. So
Gotcha. So and I know you and I had talked about in kind of the pre-work, we had talked about things that we can, dive into, but I'd love for us just to kind of, take a little bit deeper dive on your company, because I imagine you did the same things anyways that we were going to talk about. But, what was it, what did you do after you took over this company? Like, and this could be for anybody coming in and taking over any company. What were your priorities, and how did you go about transforming this company to where you to build that foundation for growth?
Right. Well, and I would say, this experience here is not dissimilar to Ultra Solutions or to any of the businesses at Aramark. When I I were taking on a new division or something, I mean, it's about going in there initially and trying to set a vision and mission and kind of core values around the company, and really, I think, connecting with individuals in the company. So, I mean, the first thing that I did when I came in is set up one-on-one meetings with every single manager and above, and critical folks here, and spent an hour with them, and learned about their background, and really tried to just kind of connect with those folks. And you're at the same point, you're assessing talent, and you're trying to and it really helps you kind of understand the business and connect with people. And I think that was really critical to kind of set that foundation and have them know me. I think sitting behind a desk and and being sequestered in your office, I mean, that's kind of a thing that I see the mistakes people make doing that. There's something super simple, and and I've done this for the past 10 years, and I did this even prior to that, is, a simple thing to really, you need to, I need to connect with, our frontline, the individuals that are making our rods downstairs, or those that are, building our torches, or whatever, or shipping, you need to connect with them. So just a simple thing that I do every single day, did it this morning. I don't walk through the front door, and I'm pointing outside because we're here, is I will walk through the back, and I will go to every single department. And then I'll do that as I come up to the kind of more standard offices, and just say good morning to everybody, see how everybody's doing. You get a real pulse for the business. They put a name with a face, you're connecting with people. And I think that was one of the things that, I heard coming in, is that the previous leadership, it was the typical kind of upstairs,
Yeah,
and
that's where they were.
and, yeah, right. You've heard that many times, and it really helps connect. And I'll even do some of that during the day. So I mean, those are just, so I mean, and through this kind of journey too, just over, it's almost a year, is, assessing our KPIs, and how we measure things. I will say that I think when you walk into a new organization, your first thing is you think you would need to change everything, right?
Yeah.
And I assessed their processes here around some simple things like Gamba walks that they do every Thursday, or these L10 meetings that we're doing in-house. We kept almost every single process that they were doing before because they were effective.
Right. Sure.
Didn't need to change it. So, I mean, less change is really the most important thing, I think, walking into a brand new business, because, I think changing things too quickly is problematic. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've heard that a number of times from seasoned CEOs, right? That there's the young guns that come in and think they're gonna, change this, do that, come in with fire and shots all over the place, and they just end up shooting all over themselves. And the most experienced ones, they come in and they don't do anything literally for a few months. Right. They're just observing and learning and getting the feel for it. It sounds like that's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's imperative to do that, especially if the business is running well. And I'll just say this, that, the previous owner and CEO left a great business. I'm shocked at how that I haven't found any landmines. Usually there's a bunch.
Yeah. You'd know by now, it's been 11 months or whatever. So that's a good sign. Yeah, very good. And so I was going to ask something else that you were talking about there. Oh, that's what it was. How many employees do you guys have?
We have 39 employees here.
39 employees. Okay, very good. Awesome. Another thing you had talked about in our pre-call is that you put in simple and effective processes and KPIs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that that's always I see too often that everything's over engineered. And I think this goes back to what I was just saying, is that the KPIs and the measurements and the processes that they have here are simple, and in some cases they're manual, right? But I will tell you, and I'm all about more efficiency and making sure things run, quicker, faster, better. But the processes here, that was about keeping the process, how we do our Kanban system, or what things we're measuring and how we measure them. Since we're a fairly low transaction business, we have that luxury of being able to use those same systems. There's an opportunity to measure different things. I think measure more effectively, but what we measure is what is exactly important to this business. And that's about not changing some of the processes too. So I'm all about simplicity on everything. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that makes total sense. Well, and it's funny, there's, I don't know what's your approximate annual revenue? Were you guys running?
we're a bit over 10 million.
Bet over 10 million. Yeah. I mean, there's some companies I've worked with, 20, even 30 million. And, you talk to them about KPIs and, there's been discussion somewhere in the company about them, but nobody's really paying attention to them. And they've gotten to where they are on kind of luck, it seems like.
Right. Well, I think the things we measure, we're measuring customer complaints. We're measuring our back orders. We understand exactly where our pipeline is for each of the directors of sales. We, all the kind of basics around the business from both an operations standpoint, and kind of a revenue generation and finance. We have measurements around those. They just don't need to be so cumbersome that and again, there aren't really, which is great here. There aren't any unnecessary reporting where things are over reported. Previous company I was with over reported.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
And nobody even looked at.
Right. There, nobody's doing anything. That's the thing is if nobody is making any decisions on that number every week, then it's a number you should get rid of, or, maybe monthly, whatever that is. But you're exactly right. People, one of my clients were coming in, she had these spreadsheets, is looking at all these KPIs. And I asked her, what decisions are you making with any of those?
Right. Exactly.
We're not making any decisions. Well, then what the fuck good is it for you?
Right. Exactly.
Why are we doing this? Right. So I love what you're saying about that. So we had talked about the champagne bottle incident.
Oh my God.
Tell us about that.
This was really early in my career. And this is, I just had this conversation with somebody like a half hour ago. Margie, who's our marketing manager. No, this is such a simple thing, but it was such a morale killer. So I became a general manager at Aramark in 96 or 97, long time ago. And simple thing that nobody would really think would be a big deal. Holiday party, right? We gave out these $25 gift cards to every single employee, right?
Yeah.
And they told me about that, and I said, that's really lame. We're not going to do that. We're going to do something different. We're going to give out a sparkling wine bottle and 2 glasses so they could celebrate with their significant other, over the holidays. Well, little did I know that, and again, my stupidity around this, we all make bad decisions, is that $25 was being used by those individuals to go to Stater Brothers and get a turkey or food or what have you and literally, so I remember walking into our facility in Santa Ana after the weekend and after kind of the holiday was over. And I walked up to one of our employees and he said, "Hey, you know what I did with the gift you gave me? I smashed it on the ground." And everybody in our plant was furious with me. Yeah. And it was one of those moments I just thought, you need to really listen and understand traditions and what's important to people. And, the empathy around, you got to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. You basically took away their holiday meal, and one of those lessons that I'll never forget. I mean, and I just had that conversation about.
Wow. So $25.
Yeah. And this was $1996, but
okay. Still, so maybe $7,500, whatever.
Because you're dealing with hourly employees, and it was something that they really looked forward to, and I blew it, and it took months to get that kind of morale back on track, and you could really set a business back by making what you think are silly decisions are important to people. So
yeah, so the sounds like the lesson there is being very empathetic and taking the time to sit back and really think about the ramification of your decisions and how it will truly impact them.
Yeah, of course. Yes. Of course. Yeah.
Gotcha. So awesome. So what's next for Broco Rankin?
Well, I think what we're focused in on is one, marketing the company more effectively. Yeah, our marketing strategy is around, because we do use a distribution network for a number of our businesses. We do go B2C in some cases, in some of the other businesses, but I think it's about marketing the company and driving more leads and opportunities to our directors of sales. We've seen an improvement in that with, we hired a firm that I worked with before that's really done a great job with website and social media and all those kinds of things. I think it is also for our business is being able to really set up, really becoming a sales organization. Okay, what does that look like from a sales operations standpoint, and measuring activity, and giving our directors of sales the tools they need to really drive growth in their businesses. I think in the past year, that wasn't a focus, and nor was there any kind of guidance around that. And really for the company just to organically grow at that double-digit rate, and continue to take market share and deliver on our promise to our investors and the company itself. So
gotcha. Very cool. Awesome. So a question I ask everybody on my show is, if you're going to hire a CEO to take the reins for your company, what's the one book you'd require they read, and why is that?
Okay, so the one book, I will be candid with, if anybody's listening to this, I'm not the most avaricious, reader. I'll be honest with you. But the one book that comes to mind is Memos from the Chairman by Alan Greenberg. And this was, if you read through it, so Alan Greenberg was the CEO of Bear Stearns. Didn't go great in 2008. And probably if they would have actually read his book, when, and the leaders at that time, they wouldn't have, I think, been as risk averse as as risk takers as they were at Bear Stearns. It was really just about, when times are really good, that's when you really need to hunker down and really start to put your energy toward, driving the company. That was the real message out of that book. And what it was a series of memos from him in this book to his team over time, and how he kind of shaped that organization to really, I think, be one of the preeminent organizations, obviously until their demise in 2008 with the banking crisis. But it's a really kind of cautionary tale about how to run businesses.
Cautionary tale. Love it. Okay, awesome. Well, let me take a few minutes and Sterling, and summarize some of my key takeaways from our time together today. One is whether you're taking over any kind of a new position or just looking to get a fresh start, is one-on-one meetings with the critical people in your company, learning about them on a personal level as well as a professional level. You're looking at their talent, assessing their talent, and as well as it's an opportunity for them to get to know you, develop that know, like, and trust between them with that relationship, establishing a clear vision, mission, and core values, setting that foundation. And you kind of talk about this morning walkthrough, where you come in through the back door and literally go through every single department, just say good morning, hello, and just kind of get the pulse of the company. Other is measuring KPIs, getting those KPIs in place for operations, financial, sales, and marketing, just be careful not to make them too cumbersome. A lot of people, it just sounds like you've seen other people that get caught into the trap of this unnecessary reporting and not making any decisions and just doing numbers for the sake of doing numbers, right?
Correct.
Another one I love is this champagne incident. This, where you came in and got it instead of $25 that they would go use at that time for turkeys, they got champagne, and it disrupted a tradition that was very much looked forward to by the employees, and you lost some trust there, and you had to rebuild that. So the lesson here is being empathetic, being in tune with things before you make decisions. So I love that. Let me ask Sterling, if there was one takeaway that you'd really want the audience to absorb from our time together today, what would that be?
Oh, I would just say, I think that as leaders, and this is what we're really talking about, leaders, whether it's you're the CEO or you're managing a certain part of the business, is that, the value that you can bring with your leadership in how you listen and how you kind of develop people is critical to the organization. And it's almost I think in a way with kind of just how businesses are run now with it's more management, it's more KPIs. Leadership is still a huge component of this, and those relationships that you build with your employees. So
yeah, absolutely. There's management, which is the KPIs, the schedule, operations, and there's leadership, which is influence and motivation and everything else in relationships. Yeah, fantastic. Awesome, Sterling. If any of our listeners wanted to reach out and get a hold of you for any questions, perhaps anything from the podcast, what would be the best way to do that?
Email. So it's speloso@brocoinc.com. So, and
Cool.
come visit our website if you want to do any exothermic cutting and welding.
There you go. Yes, absolutely. Awesome. And that's SPELOSO, correct?
Correct. At Broco, BROCOINC.com.
Awesome. And you can also look Sterling up on LinkedIn as well. Great. Well, hey, Sterling, thanks again for being on the show. This was a fantastic episode.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a lot of fun. So thank you.
Yeah, you bet, man. And so for the listeners out there, please hit the like and subscribe and help us spread the word about what we're doing here. We're helping the next generation of leaders and CEOs be that much more successful. With that, this is your host, Patrick Rogers, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks a lot.